I guess when I called him, I had expected that the town would cooperate with my request. That, in fact, his assisting in developing a petition that met the criteria of simply having our town have its voice heard. You realize the only voice being heard in Hartford is your letter.
That's not quite true. That's not quite true, Jared.
Well,
there were public hearings there. And there were a lot of people that went up, and there were several letters and several sites and several petitions and several chamber-like documents that have been sent through that legislation before it went. So that is not just my, and my letter incidentally was an opinion, and it was phrased.
I understand it was a personal opinion, but it was used differently. Now,
so which
my question is, we had never had a town meeting to really find out what this town wants. We'd like to hear the will of the town is.
And as soon as we have something to give you, we'll have a town meeting. As soon as a developer has something to bring to the table, you'll have a town meeting. If he wants to put a gun factory in there, you can have a town meeting and say no.
The town people, which is the legislation of this town, have no mechanism to participate. That's what you're talking about.
This is not a town issue. It is an issue between the state and a private developer.
I've heard that before.
Yes, sir. And it is.
So we have no way to counteract the fact
that you should wait until that land is, a proposal comes to P&Z, and if they see what they're going to develop. And you have all the world, you have all the power in the world, and all the voice in the world to attend every one of those public hearings. And you have a very good P&Z which will be able to listen readily.
Right now you're saying that there is no way for the town to express their legitimate opinion on the swap to counteract the fact that they used your letter to endorse the swap.
In part, and we should stop referring to using my letter, in part there were several endorsements, several recommendations.
I don't know that they were as important as yours.
Well, thank you very much. I'm pleased that you think that. But the only way that you can do is you can have all the people that you want. You get all those petitions, get everybody together, send it up to the governor, take it up to him. I'll take your request to ask Eileen Daly or anybody to come in and talk to those people, or anybody that wants to come to that particular open informational meeting.
Okay, we're going to put up another petition. We're going to submit it. We're going to get more signatures. I'm hoping that this will be sufficiently worded that you won't have Bruno find some problem with it. I think it would really be nice if we ironed it out beforehand, though, and made sure that it was done properly, because I'm afraid of the
reputation. Well, I would recommend that you get a lawyer.
We have a lawyer.
Well, then talk to him. Then talk to him. Have him look at it. Have him put together a decent petition. My God, did your lawyer put that together? One other point I would like to make, is Jerry, would you just one sentence, tell me why you are opposed to this swap?
I'd like to hear why you are for this.
Yeah. Oh, you saw my letter. I'll tell you why I'm for it after he mentions. Go ahead.
Yes. I am opposed to it primarily because of the procedure used to make it happen. It is a scandal. This is the swap scandal, and it's become known as that. Our reputation in Haddam is suffering from this on our 350th anniversary. It's not going to attract developers into our town to know that we have a scandal going on. It is not going to help our real estate values. It's not going to help the morale of the people who live here to have pride in their town. We have to settle this and do it professionally.
Does the fact that you're concerned about the precedent that could have been set with the state delegating land that it was supposed to be in perpetuity, does that have anything to do with it?
A lot.
Thank you. Ed, yes. You asked me why I support the concept of having some development, economic development down there. Now you were on the Board of Finance for a very long time, and you know how difficult it is to make the numbers work. You know that the process of taxation is the mill rate is dependent on the revenue that is coming in and the expenses going up. Okay. Our revenue has been at a flat to declining basis with a small increase, a very, very small increase. The expenses continue to rise. We're not getting any revenue in to support the tax base. As a result, the taxes are continuing to go up and up and up. As I mentioned 100 times, and I apologize if it's going to sound trite, but we have 44 square miles of land. We have 51% that is open space. Of that 49% that is left, 90% is residential. Okay, I've got 2 square miles to try to develop for economic development purposes. One is located in Tylerville, and the other one is located in Haddam. Tylerville, we have, as Sharon so aptly pointed out, we have a contamination problem. Haddam, we don't have any sewers to work with. Now, somebody comes to me and said, I think it might be a good idea to develop something in there, in that area. What do you think? And what do you think I'm going to think? I'm going to think, my God, I'm worried about this town. I'm worried about our people. I'm saddened by holding people's hands who can't pay their taxes. I don't like reaching in my pocket and giving an old lady $30 for a dump sticker because her kid ripped her off for drugs. I mean, these are serious times. Our per capita is down. Our ADM on the Killingworth school system, on the RSD school system, is up. We have 56% of the kids. So as good of a job as Howard Theory did in coming in and proposing a budget of less than 1%, that equates to a 3% to ours. There's a letter going to the Haddam Bulletin from our Board of Finance because they are reacting to something that was put in the Haddam Bulletin earlier with regard to spending, and they are basically saying, hey folks, here's how it works, and expect your taxes to go up almost $1 million this year. How long can we carry this on? So you say, why do I support it? That's why I would look to an economic development incentive. If we possibly can. And as far as I can, this has nothing to do with our town, but as I said in my letter, it is not a town issue, but I can see the town of Haddam being the recipient of some much needed economic development revenue.
Well, the problem is that we don't know what's going to happen there.
No, we don't.
And in 2009, it was very clear that a Goodspeed Opera was coming across the river to build an opera house. As a non-profit organization, they pay 0 in taxes.
I would say
that's why I wanted to have INA to come down here to explain to us what is supposed to happen there. Because giving to one developer doesn't mean that you're going to get a revenue directly. I mean,
I think you're looking to us to determine who's going to come in there. And I would say this about any pilot program over there. Any business that comes into our town that is a pilot nature. In other words, we're not getting taxes, but we have to get a portion of it because it's non-profit. I'm not particularly interested in it. I mean, I really am not. I'm looking for how can we build our tax base through revenue-based development.
So do you know something more than we do?
No, I don't. I'm just answering your question. I don't. All I know is I'm looking forward to getting some economic development so we can offset this tax runaway. I'm telling you, we're going to be at 30 in no time. And it's not going to be pretty. I mean, if you don't care about higher taxes, that's fine, but there's a lot of people in town that do. Yes, sir.
Paul Ruhrman, Route 154. I guess in aid of what you're saying, I don't necessarily disagree with the fact that we would like to see some more taxable properties become available. But if you had structured your letter, for instance, to say, we understand you're interested in swapping that land, is it possible to open it up to other alternatives so that maybe we would get something even more revenue producing there, given the tract of land that it could be, rather than just saying, well, yes, that's a great swap and keeps land in town. We could end up with them keeping 80 acres and having to do something with it, and somebody from Norwich trading land with the state and having something over there. So I guess the point is that everything to us looked like it was done behind the scenes, and nothing, if the real concern was development, then that's what you should have issued as the concern.
That's what I did issue as a concern. If you read my letter, and Missy was nice enough to read it last week, it basically, it says exactly that.
I understand, but the leaning was towards getting that job done, the swap done. And that's what gets to many of the townspeople, is this was sort of done behind our backs without the interests of the town. And you're right, the state can do whatever they want, they own the land. But the selectmen can say, we are the select persons of this town, and we would like you to look at all the alternatives for that land as long as you're looking to do something, rather than say, it's a great idea.
Well, I was, at the time, I think, and I'll have to go back and look at my notes, but at the time, I believe I was solicited for an opinion on that particular issue, and not on anything else, so.
I understand that, but again, your point is, revenue is good. Given that, why wouldn't we say, thank you, that's a great idea, but even a better idea might be if you open it up to every possible alternative.
I think that was brought up at the time, if I'm not mistaken, but your point is well taken.
But it is, see, and I don't think that's what you're saying, but all that was in front at that time is the actual swap. Not dictating what goes in that land. And that's something that's been seeping into the conversation when people jump ahead and they'll assume what's going to go. I get what you're saying. Do you know what's going to go into it? We have planning and zoning regulations. We have zones set up. That's going to dictate what goes on the property. Paul couldn't say at that point, I'm in favor of the swap and I'd like a factory to go in there. No, it's whoever owns it at that time has to come to us, has to come to planning and zoning, make the proper application. We already have the laws. We can't circumvent those laws.
But again, it's something that is a point that you could make. Because the problem is instead of taking that at face value, which is that, boy, yes, I would love to have something come in here so that it would be revenue producing, it's taken as a vote of confidence for the swap. That's the problem with it. So if you had said, yeah, this is one thing that might be helpful, but would you look at other things? Then everyone would say, wow, the selectmen are really looking out for the townspeople. They're trying to cut the best deal they can, or ask the state to cut the best deal, rather. I understand, it's the state's deal, but it's also your job to represent us. We can't be there. That's why there's our elected officials, okay? And what we're trying to avoid is having what we have in Washington right now, okay? Because everyone says they're the ones that make the deal. Yeah, they do, because we elect them. They're so remote that we can't get our hands on them. We can get our hands on you guys.
What I would recommend, and some of your thought process is really valid, but what I would recommend is that if this thing goes through, and as Bob pointed out, it may not, but if it does go through, I think at that point in time, I think that you really need to, and you will be able to have your voices heard through the public process at that point, because those applications and a designation of what's going to happen with that land and so on will be coming to the table. Right now, there's nothing there.
No one's arguing that. But the point is just we're trying to make that because nothing can be done now to take back your letter. That's why everyone's trying to get you to do something. We understand, and hindsight is just wonderful. It's very easy to sit here, for me to sit here and say, why didn't you say in that letter? Well, it wasn't a thought in your mind at the time, okay? But looking at it now, and looking at it from the perspective of the people that are here and the perspective of all the people that signed that petition, can't you see where we're coming from, that your letter was used against us?
I don't see it being used against anything. As I said, it was
Well, I believe in reading the articles, it seemed that was used as saying the town supported it.
Well, I don't know about
that. Because how someone used that letter, that's how they use the letter. The author's the author.
Agreed.
The author's the author. Someone read that letter in the legislature and said, this letter represents the entire town of Haddam. Well, they're intellectually lying, because it's not true. And if they use that letter improperly, I blame them, not the author of the letter. You know,
Goes on
because-
town
So, but
station.
that's
Okay, hold
what
on,
he was
hold on,
getting at.
fine. But the other thing is, let me ask you a question, because I want to understand what you're saying. If we had a meeting, or if we turned around and we said that we oppose the swap, do you think we're representing all the people in Haddam?
That's why you want
Town
to.
meeting is supposed
Let's
to
have a meeting about
We
it.
have people that are split in the town. When you say represent all the people, that's right. We do, not just the people who are in our face, not just the people who are demanding something, it's everybody. In the town is obviously split, and it hurts us, and it hurts everybody. It personally hurts me. I don't like to see townspeople against each other. I don't like to see this kind of confrontation, it's terrible.
Then-
But the problem is, it's a very controversial issue, and the town is split on it. So any letter, in my opinion, or any vote that tries to portray the town as 100% one way or 100% another way is absolutely improper and wrong, because it's not accurate. The accuracy is the town is split. I think the most accurate thing, and I agree with Paul, is that if there's 300 or 500, 600 people that are against it and can put their name on the letter, that's accurate. For those 300 people to call a town meeting and to vote, and then portray that's what the entire town wants, that's not accurate.
That is accurate.
It's not accurate. The town is split on the issue.
It is.
You vote direction, you vote
Okay,
direction.
I wanna spend- okay, now look, we're going in circles now, and this is why I didn't want to spend too much time on the backfill, please.
Hi, I'm Barry Thompson from Meeting House Road in Haddam. I guess I taken a lot of notes here. The first thing I do want to say, though, is going back to this letter, and I'll leave it at this, is that your letter was, you said, your personal opinion. And that was written on town letterhead, Paul. Let me finish, please. If I had an opinion for Open Solutions in Glastonbury and stated that opinion, and I used my company's letterhead, I would be fired if I hadn't cleared that with my CEO.
I am the CEO. And incidentally, every time that I'm asked for a quote by a newspaper, I'm cited as being, the first selectman. So also, whether it's opinion or, those do reflect.
Just point number two, as for an attorney, yes, we have an attorney, and she actually was an attorney for a town in Connecticut, reporting to the Board of Selectmen. I'm sitting here saying to myself, I looked at a video of you, Paul, in 2009, standing in the back of the room here. At the time, you were on P&Z, and you were a resident like the rest of us, and you were seeking more info, and I think your quote was something like a boy trying to find a pony in a pile of manure.
Very good.
Well, it's out on YouTube, and everyone's looking at it and commenting. So, I guess what they're saying is, back then, you were like us, and now you're there, which you feel kind of opposing. Please don't inject anything here. Let me just finish. You express your unhappiness with the discourse between the people in the town of Haddam, and Sean, you just actually expressed the same thing right now. I would agree with you. You've also asked us to dream. You've invoked that word a lot. I feel, we all feel, you're being given an opportunity of a lifetime during the year of the 350th anniversary to be a uniter and not a divider. And you are being perceived, and when you say 350, 400, it's about 90-10 in this town, as far as percent, that are perceiving the Board of Selectmen as standing in the way of the democratic process. That means you're not allowing us to ask questions, to get answers from you. I just need to add something else. A great deal of time has been spent by professionals reviewing and disproving and researching the revenue claims by the ORL, the firm hired by the River House. You can go out to their site and you say, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, but I'm not naive. I wasn't born yesterday. You know darn well, especially if you're keeping your eye on the revenue numbers, You know darn well what their claims are, number of jobs, amount of revenue, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de. That's smoke and mirrors. That is so smoke and mirrors, it's incredible. If you want to talk to the town and you want to meet with us, maybe we can educate you on the research we've done. What plans do you have, as I drive around this town, what plans do you have to entice business to come in and fill the washed up, soaked up windows of the buildings now that we don't have anybody paying revenue? You talk about you want revenue. Geez, what are you doing to grab them? I personally know the developer. I personally know one of them. To a horrible extent of needing to call the police because of him. I have never ever witnessed a person with the most foul mouth in my life to the point of domestic violence. I have to say that, and I'm also going to add one more personal note. I have cancer. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I pay over $8,000 in taxes and receive nothing. I have no children here. I will tell, and as I told all my friends, I will be cremated in my Stop the Swap hat and my Stop the Swap shirt. It means that much to me.
Thank you, Jerry. Missy?
One quick question. What happens if the developer decides that he doesn't want to build anything and just wants to cut the trees down for a better view?
I think there's restrictions in the, I have not looked at the...
I can read word for word from what the bill language is.
But then why you ask the question, Missy? I don't know.
It's a question.
What's your question? What happens if they decide not to develop it?
What do you, right.
I think it goes away. I'm not sure.
No,
I haven't looked at the...
They have 2 years to do whatever plan they want to do.
All right.
So they could say, my plan is to cut down 30 trees. That's my plan. 2 years, they get the property legally, and what if they don't want to build anything? Or if they don't have the money to build anything, or, anything. Or they build houses. See, I think what everybody's saying is, the process was bad, yes, it's conservation land. I'm not so much worried about the turtles and the frogs. I'm worried about, why didn't we have a voice in this before? What if we could have gotten 150 acres someplace? 200 acres on a lake? What if we had a developer who built this awesome thing someplace else that has more experience as a developer, more money, anything? The plan just happened backwards. And like at that meeting, 2009, was stated by so many people, you and Peter, everything was, the cart was before the horse. I think in order to make everything go away, all of the animosity would be just to have a simple town meeting. It goes in the paper 10, 15 days ahead. You advertise it in the bulletin, on Facebook, everywhere. Everybody can come out, for or against whoever, just like our budget meetings, just like our other town meetings. Transfer station, anything that we do in town as a legal body, as the people, would be at a meeting. And this would give everybody the opportunity to come out.
See, therein lies the problem. It's not a legal issue. This is not our swap. Now, if you want to have an informational hearing, that's wonderful. I will give you the building, and you can invite anybody you want. Put it in the paper. Invite anybody you want. You have before.
Actually, yeah, and you were going to charge us $350 for the firehouse.
I'll do you a favor. I'll charge you $50.
No, that's okay. Because that's not a legal voice. That's the problem. It's not a legal voice. We wanted a legal voice, like, again, I know that what Sean said.
But Sean, excuse me, Missy, we're going around in circles. We can't give you a legal voice on something that is not legally ours to do.
It's just an opinion. It's just just
like...
like...
You jump from one thing to another. You're asking for a legal voice, now you're asking for an opinion.
No, it's the legal voice is the opinion, just like the 1982
Okay, I understand.
case.
Okay, I think we're going around in circles. I'm sorry I can't do more. We'll entertain one more question. Tom.
Bill Harris, Haddam next.
I'm sorry, you look like Tom Worley. I apologize, Bill.
It seems like there's a lot of hypocrisy here on the Board of Selectmen's part. You seem to be totally in favor of increasing revenue, and you don't seem to want to listen to the townspeople at all when it comes to just analyzing the whole thing. You're elected to represent the people of the town, not your own special interests and your own special taste. And I think you better rethink your position. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, now, can I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
One more.
Thank you, folks.
I'll do next time.